77 WABC and Bergen Newbridge Medical Center honor the life of legendary broadcaster and our friend, Ernie Anastas.
Hi, it's Ernie Anastas. You know, your thoughts can affect how you feel. Bergen Newbridge Medical Center is the largest hospital in New Jersey, providing comprehensive, equitable, compassionate, and high-quality emergency inpatient and outpatient medical care, plus mental health services and substance use disorder treatment. The Bergen Newbridge team can address your total health needs in one convenient location. Call 201-225-7130 for an appointment or newbridgehealth.org.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
So we're getting ready for the second leg of the Triple Crown, the Preakness Stakes, about to come your way. And the question was, after Golden Tempo's amazing run in the Kentucky Derby, whether or not the horse would run again. And I had the really fortunate opportunity, thanks to my friendship with Vinnie Viola, to have on the lady, the only female trainer ever to train a horse to win the Kentucky Derby, Cherie DeVaux. She was on with me Monday morning, 2 days after the epic win, and Cherie was terrific. She really was great. And then I was watching Fox News on Saturday morning this weekend, and there she was again on the weekend show with Campos and Gripman, and she has become a legitimate superstar. And again, why not? The only female trainer ever to win the Kentucky Derby. And I did end our first conversation with, will Tempo run in the Preakness? Now, at the time, sure, you did not give me an answer, but you made it sound like it didn't look good because you talked about how the horse likes to run longer distances, and it sounded to me like you were intimating that the horse was not going to run the Preakness. But we found out officially what your horse is going to do a couple days ago. And for folks that aren't paying attention, will Golden Tempo race this weekend?
He will not. He will not be entered in the Preakness.
And does it come down to what you talked about with me just 2 days after and on Fox News this weekend, that the horse is just used to running longer distances right now, or is the horse tired? What is the main reason why he's not going to run this weekend?
It's a culmination of both. Ultimately, what we decided, in chatting with the team, the Phipps and Vinny's team, is we're looking for a campaign for the whole year, and trying to squeeze a race in 2 weeks just wouldn't be right for him to have the bigger goal in mind. We're pointing to the Belmont, then we're pointing to the Travers, and then after the Travers, we'll reevaluate to see, if we're going to go into the Breeders' Cup Classic. So it's one or the other usually, in my opinion. Asking a horse to run back in 2 weeks and then back in 3 weeks, it's a tough task. And I'm not saying I love history, and I'm not saying change the Triple Crown, but I'm saying it takes a super unique and special horse to be able to do it. And I'm not saying that Golden Tempo isn't isn't a high caliber great horse, but I'm just saying coming back in 2 weeks just isn't necessarily the best for him.
Yeah, you talked about what kind of horse it takes to win the Triple Crown, and God, in the 70s when I was a young kid, there was a nice slew of those. You had Slew, there you go, Seattle Slew, and you had Secretariat, and then I remember watching Affirm beat Aladar in all three races, and a young Stevie Cawthon winning the Triple Crown. But then we saw so many examples, over the years, really in the 90s and early 2000s, of horses like Charismatic and others that won the first two legs and came up short in the Belmont for a variety of reasons. Did racing get back to you at any point and say, hey, do me a favor, somebody big in the horse racing office, whatever that is, and say, hey, we'd love a shot at a Triple Crown this year? Or do they stay away and let people like you make those decisions?
I will commend everyone. There's been no pressure. There's been no pressure from any racing office. There's in the industry. There's not been any pressure from any, both. Everyone on the team has been really good about putting Golden Tempo first. and the racing office, nobody called. We called them and let them know that we were going to bypass the Preakness. And it's everyone's excited about it, and there are fans that don't live, breathe what we do, and they're disappointed, which I can understand that as well. But, I have to be the advocate for us as a team, have to be the advocate for what's best for Golden Tempo. And just to run in the Preakness, just to do it for the history of it isn't what's right for the horse.
This is the great female trainer, Cherie DeVaux, made history a couple of weeks ago when her horse, Golden Tempo, won the Kentucky Derby. By the way, the last horse to win the Triple Crown was Bob Bappert's Justify, and that was about 8 years ago already. And before that, American Pharaoh did it in 2015 and broke a 37-year drought. So as we talked about it is very rare. I mean, I guess you just talked about what kind of athlete. A lot of people get upset. There was a list that came out years ago, Cherie, and they were talking about athletes, and they had Secretariat on the same list as Michael Jordan. And they go, you can't compare a horse to a human being. But I think what the list was talking about was whether it's a horse or a human being, what that animal or person is able to achieve. So you have to admit that for a horse to win all 3 legs of those races in less than 7 weeks takes an unbelievable horse, yes?
100%. And there are horses that run that back that quickly and regularly, but we're talking about a top-level horse. We're not talking about a horse that just, and this is no slight, but, you get a claiming horse. They run more often, but these horses, they're putting everything that they have out there, and we're trying to save some for we're planning for the whole year, not just being nearsighted about the Triple Crown.
Big year, like you said, Beaumont coming up, and then Travers and Breeders. So let me talk about you for a second here, because most folks didn't know who you were about 3 weeks ago. And now, like I said, you're on Fox News twice. You're on this show twice. Does not get bigger than that, Cherie. Trust me. You're a big star, and people don't realize this, but right now, as you're doing this, you're literally outside by your track getting ready to take care of your horses early in the morning. So I guess you've kind of gone back to what you were doing before you won the Kentucky Derby. But how much of a thrill has this been the last couple of weeks? Or are you tired of it and ready to get back to life as usual?
Well, we're navigating. It's exciting that everyone is excited and celebrating, and that's fun. But we won the Kentucky Derby, and it's not like a championship where we can go to Disney World. We have horses that are we have a full stable of horses, so it's not just Golden Tempo. We have a full stable, and I have only missed on Monday when I went to New York. That's the only day I missed going to the barn. So we're just trying to fit it all in, and I think it's great that there's positive talk about the industry, because and I'm not saying this is unfounded, but our industry of horse racing has been under fire, and there have been a lot of positive things happening, new rules, just different aspects. So I think it's great that I can be a steward just for the sport. So it's kind of like taking the good with and I won't even say bad, taking the good with the exhaustion.
No, I hear you. Believe me, it all makes sense to me. Well, you've been terrific again on this show twice. I can't thank you enough. You've been great on TV. Everybody loves you, and I would imagine we will talk again before the final leg, which is back in the place where you were born, I guess, and spent your very early days in Saratoga. That's where the Belmont will be held in just a couple of weeks. So congratulations again on the Kentucky Derby win. Thank you so much for being so gracious, Cherie, and enjoy the horses this morning. You and I will talk again very soon. Thank you so much.
And thank you for having me on.
You're great. Thank you so much. You're terrific. You really are. There she is, the first female trainer ever to win the Kentucky Derby, Cherie DeVaux, who told us this morning that Golden Tempo will not run in the Preakness, but 99.99% sure we'll see that horse again up in Saratoga for the Belmont. Short break. More of Sid and Friends in the morning right after these words.